Hey everyone, it's Rebecca with Simply Scrap Happy. I am so sorry. I have to do a take two today. Somehow a button got pushed and I was muted, and so nobody saw the beginning to the video. So I guess I deleted that one and we'll start again. My apologies. So we'll have to make this really quick. I just have about 15 minutes, and so I'm going to fly right through it. So if you are watching along, I'd love to hear where you're watching from. And thanks to my sister watching from Massachusetts who saved the day and let me know that I was muted. I had no idea that was even a thing. Didn't know that was possible, but it happened. So thank you, Anne, for letting me know what was going on. I really appreciate that. All right, so we are working today on creating these cute little pillow boxes and putting a cluster on the top. That's what we're going to do. But before that, I just wanted to remind people I do have a crafting opportunity tomorrow. If you are local to me and you happen to be free tomorrow afternoon, I would love for you to join us. We are going to be, I got my hot mug, and I hope you are too. Hope you do too. We are going to be at Machias at the Pines. We're taking easy to put together cards and blessing the seniors. So we're going to sit with them and do a ladies' afternoon activity. We're going to help the seniors to create their own cards, and we could create some to take home for ourselves as well. So we would love to have you. I hope you will join me. Please text me or message me today if you would like to join in. So I think that would be fabulous to have you join in. I know the seniors will love it. So if you're just joining us, please tell me where you're watching from. Grab a hot cup of something. If you're finding the replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments and then tell me where you're joining us from. So I am the creator of the simplyscraphappy.com blog, and I have all my crafty events there. I have events that I hold. I have demonstrations and tips and tricks and ideas, upcycling, scraps, all kinds of creative things that I post there. Also, my dance, photography, and writing is on that blog. So you can find all kinds of inspiration. But in the welcome post is where I put the updated info for my events. So Rebecca Laird with simplyscraphappy.com. I hope you'll check it out. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. You can go to stampinup.com, find a demonstrator, and start typing in Rebecca Laird. And it will come up Rebecca Laird, Delavan, New York. And then you'll know it's me. So that's how to find me. Let's move right into this gift box. So there are two that I'm working with, and I wanted to show you this first one is called the book treat boxes. I don't know if there's any left. I believe I got them on a clearance. You'll have to check it out. One of these was on clearance. But these gift boxes of different varieties are a win in my book. These are fantastic, and I just wanted to share how easy it was to assemble with you. So you can see how they come. There's a package of 10, and I believe it's under $10, so super, super affordable thank you gift for somebody. And when you put it together, you're literally just folding these score lines. This super thick, beautiful paper that they're made out of can be decorated and stamped on. And you'll see with this particular one, it looks like those lifesaver boxes from when we were kiddos. And so all I had to do was fold it and use the adhesive that's already attached. I cut a little rectangle inside. I can put the measurements on my blog. And then I just decorated the outside. So when it was flat, I just put the paper down, cut around the little edges, and adhered that. Super easy. And then on the top, I have, this is Reindeer Days paper from that selection. I have the little peppermints, which are just adorable, and some twine and holly, and I just stamped the word wish on a die cut. Well, that could be any shape that you would like. You can just use a piece of rectangle paper, or you could use a die cut. And these perfectly fit a gift card. So if I was doing that, I would probably put a little tissue, wrap this in the tissue and set it inside, maybe with a chocolate, maybe with a Hershey's Kiss or something. But what an adorable way to thank people. I just had to share that. Super fun. Then when you're a person, you know, maybe you're UPS driver or something like that, if they receive this, that would be a lovely surprise. And you can even put the rolls of Lifesavers inside for old time's sake. But when it's finished, they can use this as a Christmas decoration. So I right now have this set up in my house in a white, I have a vase by my bed, and it has full of white flowers and greenery. And I tucked this in, and it makes it look like a Christmas decoration. It's so cute. So anyway, it's kind of a gift that keeps on giving. They could also turn around and give that to someone else, right? So super fun. There's the book treat box example. And what we're going to put together today is the pillow box, okay? So same way, this is how it comes. They look like baseballs, but they're not baseballs. They're the die cut of the square pillow boxes, okay? So these are on our website. They may be under online exclusives, but if you go and you search square pillow boxes, this should come up. These, or just do the word gift boxes, and you'll get whatever selections we currently have available. So these are super easy to put together. It's literally just pushing on the scored lines, okay? Super, super quick. We push the scored lines down. This is really all it is. It's so easy. Just kind of bend, put your finger in there, bend with the circle. Once I've got all these ready, I can start to overlap, and then it's just really, really easy. So I'm going to take off the adhesive strip. I'm going to fold this up like a book. Okay, so I fold it to this side. So I'm taking this and putting it like a book. And then I like to line up the inside right here where you see the scored edge on the other side, so I know I'm on track. And this is literally all it is. Just follow that line around and it's done. There's one side done. That's all it is. I've got my fingers inside to just press that adhesive together. It's super strong adhesive. You would have a hard time doing this on your own, but they have it all set up for you to be that sturdy. So here we go. Same on the other side. I just put these in. I start to fold it over and I just line it up. It's that simple. Okay, and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a cluster from pieces maybe you already have cut out. I pulled these from my Christmas stash, and look at this. Like this is literally how hard it is. That's it. So now I've created another square pillow box. Okay, so I've got some of these already done. Now when I decorate, I like to flip it over. You can see this is the side where you see the adhesive, you know, where it folded over. You don't see the adhesive, but where it's shut. And so I like to flip it over because this is a little bit of a cleaner edge and keep that line on the bottom. So that's just my preference. And then I can decorate it however I like. And so I'm going to be showing you how to add a cluster to this. And pulling out of my stash here, I had some birds and things from an old Close to My Heart set from a couple of years ago. And it reminded me of this set that we have, Winterly Treetops. So there's a whole paper pack, Nests of Winter. And you can see that it has Winterly Treetops dies and stamps. Okay, and so this is almost identical to, you know, in style to what I made before with Stampin' Up. So, I mean, before Stampin' Up existed with Close to My Heart. So I'm going to pull these out, which is what I love to do for clusters, pull out some extra things I had and create a cluster. Now your cluster can go on a tag, it could go on a gift, it could go on a scrapbook page. Once you create a cluster, it could be used in anything. I have a friend who makes amazing junk journals. If you don't know about junk journals, that's a whole fun rabbit hole to go down. But if you create clusters, like see this piece here, this little cluster can be created ahead of time, and then I could just adhere it when I have an object to adhere it to. Okay, so that's a cluster, and I can show you little tricks today to creating a cluster and not making it just look like a mess. All right, so we're going to look at that. And if you wanted to create this at home, certainly the Winterly Treetops would be a great resource for you because there's a bundle of stamps and dies. So I saw these and I thought, this is beautiful. Let's have some kind of a base to go with it. And so I took a sheet of this paper from the Nests of Winter paper pack, okay? So Nests of Winter has all kinds of birds and soft outdoor colors. You can see how pretty this is. There's pine cones, there's, oh, I gotta tell one of the neat things. One of the things you can do with the Nests of Winter, and a lot of Stampin' Up paper packs that like are in a suite like this, is they will make the dies match the paper. So yes, you can cut out and color them yourself with a stamp, but you can also just take the birds that are on here and they will match up with some of the birds in the pattern papers. So I think that is amazing, and I hope you try it too. That is super fun. You can just run it through your die cut over the shape and you will have a colorized thing ready to go. But here is the Winterly Treetops paper, just so you can get a little gander at it. It is absolutely beautiful. This one with the birches, just a really, really pretty set for any time in the winter, including Christmas, right? But it doesn't have to be Christmas at all. It can be any winter. And then I pulled this one that looks like birch bark out, and I used that for my back. So I was like, I want to put these birds on something that matches the color, something that looks wintry. So I pulled this paper out. I cut it to 4 inches and ran it through my die cut machine with, wow, I have a lot here. I had more than I thought. This is awesome. Okay, I'm going to be able to do all my gift boxes for Christmas with this, I believe. So I ran it through the die cut machine with this set. So this is Stampin' Cut and Emboss Spotlight on Nature dies. My sister, hi Anne. Show us where you're watching from, Anne, so people can enjoy. That would be super fun if you're willing to type that in. Spotlight on Nature dies are just, this is a classic that you can use for so many things, because they're all different and they're all different sizes, and it's double. So you have kind of dressier and kind of plain in each size, which is just super fun, and they can be nested together, of course, or separate, okay? So I grabbed this set and I looked at the top of this and I thought, okay, this one's probably what I want to use. This looks like the right size to start decorating my box. And so I cut this paper, just ran this through the die cut, and this is what I got. And then I thought, it really needs red. I think I actually do want to go bigger. So I was able to pull out the next one, the next size up on the other side. This one right here is the second largest die. And I cut this piece. I just grabbed some scrap of red, and now I'm going to double mount it, okay? So I pull out the Stampin' Seal here, which I'm just getting used to. It's kind of fun. It's a good adhesive. This is the other side of that paper, which could also be used, of course, but I'm going to use the plain wood. So it kind of makes me think of the birds being in the treetops. And so I can just so easily match this up. It's just so easy to do, because they all nest perfectly together. And there you go. Okay, so now I can adhere this, and this will be my cluster, but this would be kind of hard to create on the box, right? That would be a little difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the cluster without the box, and this will kind of teach you how you can use this technique to sit and create with a bunch of your scraps. You can just stamp a bunch of things, do some die cuts, and it will be super enjoyable for you, like it is for me. Let me take a sip of my drink here, and I hope you are too, enjoying your little beverage. Okay, so I'm going to build the cluster here, and one of the things that's really nice to build it on, I hope I can put my fingers on it. These pieces come this silicone craft sheet. Okay, so this comes with our glass mat, which I'm working on, and you can put little embellishments in there. You can even use it to put ink so that you can paint with a water brush. There's lots of uses of this. It's totally washable silicone, and it adheres to our glass mat. So that's a wonderful place to build a cluster. And another place to build a cluster is this silicone craft sheet. Okay, so on this little craft sheet, if I'm using glue and whatnot, it's not going to get stuck, you know, to my board. It's going to keep my board clean, but because it is silicone, it's going to wash quickly off. So this is another great place to build a cluster. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to put my craft sheet down here and my supplies, and we're going to start to build this cluster. Now I am going to be using today this adhesive. I do have a little adhesive bundle going on right now with a discount. If you want to get caught up and stocked up, it would be a great Christmas gift as well. Please watch my blog. I'll try to put it up on there in the next few days. But I have a bundle of dimensionals, Stampin' seals, and glue, and you can pick and choose what you need. But this is a wonderful glue. It has a large side and a small side. This is just a multi-glue, and I'm going to use that to put our shapes together today. The small side is pretty delicate. Okay, so this is an awesome tool. This one's getting old. It's getting dirty looking because I've used it a lot. All right, so we've got these two, which I did use the Stampin' Seal to adhere. And then let's try to build a little cluster that would make someone so happy when they saw this box, okay? So when I do a cluster, I like to start with something that would tuck well underneath. That's usually where I start. And so I'm going to spread out my items here and see what I have. It looks like I have two different branches. Again, these are older from from before Stampin' Up, an older close to my heart set. But I would recommend the Nests of Winter and Winterly Treetops set that's currently available now from Stampin' Up. Very, very similar. Okay, and so here's my chickadees I colored. I do believe if you look at my YouTube channel, Simply Scrap Happy, you'll find a lot of cards made and a coloring video on these from last year. So I just used the alcohol markers and colored these in, and I made several of them, and then I had extra, so I just tucked them in my Christmas box, and then this year I'm able to pull them out. So I used stickles on this. It's a really fine glitter. I stamped the pine cone, and then I just glittered it up. So you could use Wink of Stella or any kind of stickle product, or glue and glitter, okay, to make that look of the pine cone. And it looks like I have two branches here, so I can make a nice base. Now, some people might say, okay, go in the middle. If we do that, we would cover up most of this. I love to do clusters beside a shape, a little bit beside, okay? And so I'm going to build this down on this corner for starters. It's just that if you're too symmetrical, the eye does not like it. So a cluster on the side is actually a really pretty way to go. All right, and I'm just playing with this so it kind of looks like I think it might look in nature. And then I'm not sticking it down yet because I want to see. I'll come back and adhere it in a moment. So then I have this chickadee that I colored. And I wanted to do something with a tag. So I pulled out my scraps from this, which is Season of Green and Gold. This is an online exclusive paper pack. It is absolutely exquisite. And it has all these little gold accent papers in it. And these are some of my scraps from there. And so I was hoping this might make a good tag. I also have some cut out with that same Spotlight on Nature die cut die set. But I didn't like the way the ivory went with this, so I'm not going to use the ivory and gold part, but I am going to pull this one and use it, I think, for my tag, and I'll show you how to dress that up in just a moment. So here's my little cluster. It definitely needs a pine cone. I don't know if this is too much stealing the show, so I'm going to try plain one under here. And you can see if you just pick the star of your show and then line up some other things behind it, you can make a gorgeous cluster. Okay, so again, if you're just hopping on, I'd love to hear where you are watching from. If you would put that in the comments, say hello and where you're watching from. And if you're catching me on the replay, please put hashtag replay and tell me what town and state or city and state you are watching from. Okay, so a cluster. I'm thinking triangles. Triangles always help the eye to move around and enjoy the scene. And I think I'm liking this. I think this is great. So this seems like enough objects. It's a cluster of 5 plus the tag. Odd numbers tend to work well. I'm just going to check one more to see if by any chance I like the bird going in the other direction, because there's both. And I think I like the first one. So then now I'm able to go ahead and start gluing these down. I'm going to push them to the side here and just dot on with my glue. And this is going to hang over the edge, so of course I'm just gluing the part that's not. So I like to turn it over so I kind of see what I'm doing, and I dot my glue like this. Just dots. You don't have to do much, because if you get too much, you're wasting your product, but also it will stick out the edges. So I've got that dotted in. I'm going to put that one down first. Just hold it for a moment with this glue. And then the other one, same thing. I'm going to turn it over and kind of leave the same overlap so I know which parts to glue. Okay, flipping that over. Again, just hold it down for a moment. Give it a chance to soak into the paper. And then let's work on this tag, okay? So these are coming in here next, but I want to get that tag slipped underneath, of course, because it's not a beautiful thing on its own. So in order to do that, I'm going to grab my stamp set that is one of a kind, okay? And there's a to and from on this set that I'm going to pull out. This is a die cut and polymer set bundle. So I'm going to grab the to and from here and quickly stamp on this sheet. So I think I'm going to need a real dark black on this, but I'm going to go in first with the pebbled path and see if it's dark enough, okay? Because when we're stamping on a piece of pattern paper, we do need to make sure it's a nice dark ink. So I'm inking up, I'm checking the block before I place it on, make sure I only have ink where I want it, and I'm looking through and see I got it on the edge there. And when you get it on the edge, you're not going to like that stamp. Okay, so that's why I always check. I'm going to clean that off real quick. We don't want ink of the block edges or the stamp edges, right? We want to make sure it's just where we need it and it has good coverage. So let me try that again. I must have been a little heavy-handed there. These are the Stampin' Spots that come with the paper pumpkin. Every paper pumpkin I have ordered comes with a Stampin' Spot. Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to see, is this adequate for this color? I'm going to find out. It's very pale, so I would say that's not quite enough. And I would probably go over this with black, with the black marker. So being that I have a new Sharpie here, I'm just going to grab that. If this was in a scrapbook, I probably would use a scrapbooking marker, but I like to just top up sometimes my stamps. If I need them a little darker or something didn't come out the way I wanted, I just go over them with marker and I use it like my stencil. So there's my to and from. And then I always like to make a little fancy end on my tag, so I'm going to take the end and I'm going to just dovetail it, a really narrow dovetail. So a dovetail you cut in the center and then you just go in from the side and in from the side. Okay, super easy. And then it looks like this has some extra, so I'm going to cut off the back end here, we don't quite need that. Shorten it up a little bit, and I'm going to place it underneath. Okay, so this is going to pop out from underneath of the bird when it's under there so that people can see. All right, so on this one, I'm just going to glue the inside edge, right? And the rest can hang out over the edge of the gift box. So tucking this one under here. Now I've got my pine cones. One lower and one higher. Okay. And now I'm ready for my bird. Now the bird is the star of the show. So whenever I do a cluster, I want my top item to be the star of the show. And in order to make it look like it's the most important thing and draw the eye to it, I'm going to want to use dimensionals. Okay, so I go in my box of adhesives here, and I'm going to grab some dimensionals. Flip this over, and this is going to enable the bird to stand out and it not look like a clustery mess, okay? You'll see a smaller spot here. I love to use the edges of the Stampin' Dimensionals. They give us that part too. So we have these little hexagons, but then we have the edges, and they're great for spots like this. Okay, now let's see how much it's hanging off. Okay. And then I see the feet are kind of hanging too, so I'm going to use a little corner for that. To get the feet on. All right, and so then we're just peeling these off. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna place this right as the star of the show here. Okay. There it goes. Just hold that down, get it nicely adhered, and now that bird is popped up. And that little bit of raise, it does everything. It puts a shadow behind him, almost like a mat, because you know it's above, so it shadows. I have a place here to write who my little gift is for, and there's my first cluster. Okay, so I'm gonna have fun creating more of these for the holidays, but I just wanted to show you what that was like, how quickly it can come together. I hope you try it too. You could use things that you cut out, fussy cut out of Christmas cards from another year. So like this one, for example, I just found, and it was so pretty with glitter. I kept this. I could use this tree on a cluster. I could use the whole thing. I could cut out this little house, or this one. You know, anything you have on a Christmas card can be fussy cut out also to use in a cluster. So that's kind of fun. Oftentimes I will add a little ribbon. So once I looked at this, once I have a dimensional up, I love to put a little something soft underneath. So I'm going to pull out the Natural Tones linen thread, and I'm going to figure out which one. I think this green is a beautiful match, and that kind of stabilizes this one. So I'm going to quickly do one of these little mini bows I love to do. So let me show you. Not really a bow, but I take this, I grab a little glue dot. I think I demonstrated this, but I'll show you again in case you haven't seen it in another video. I take my nonstick scissors and I just roll up the glue dot like this into a little roll, okay? And then I have this thread that already has the curls to it, so I just follow those curls instead of fighting them to create a little bow. And instead of trying to tie that, which would be ridiculously hard, I just use my little roll and I put it on here, and watch. I can roll it between my fingers and look, I have a bow. Okay, so that's how easy that is. Super, super simple. And now I've got a nice little softness. Now, if you like this, if it's going to be hidden anyway, you know, there's no center to that bow. You can create one super easy. So let me show you that. It's already sticky. So in order to make this look more complete, I can just wrap this piece or another piece of thread around it and complete the look. Okay, and again, roll it between your fingers and you're gonna see it gives it a little center. Okay, like that. So now it looks like it was tied, but it really wasn't. Super simple. And I want to add this because I just think this is going to complete the page. So I'm going to grab another glue dot. I'm going to roll it up a little bit so it doesn't show under the thread, right? Because it's a bit smaller. And I'm going to roll that a little bit and stick my thread in it and then adhere it here. Okay, and I think that just ties the whole thing together. It gives it a little softness. So now I have my cluster finished. You can see I could quickly put that on the front of a card. I could put it in a scrapbook as an embellishment. But of course today we're doing the gift boxes. So let me slide these over and let's pull this back together. Okay, so here's my cluster. Yes, and that's a glue dot. So I just took the glue dot off the roll and I used my scissors to push it into a little roll, and that's what I like to do to adhere threads and to make that bow. She says that would look lovely for a gift or a card for, say, a sister. You're right. This could go on any gift or a card. Thanks for the question, Anne. I think Grandma Noak is smiling down on us. Oh, yes, using the edges. So my grandma, our grandma from the Ukraine, she was not a hoarder, but she was fabulous at using, making something from nothing. And I have tried to repeat that in my life. And she definitely would have used those edges of the dimensionals that we just showed you, right? These are usable edges. This is not to throw away. That is a usable edge. Okay, so let's put this together on the gift box. And looking at my time, because we had to restart the video, I will go ahead and show you, we'll try it together, how to add the blender brush ink to this, because I can stick this on just the way it is, and it is beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, seriously. This is just absolutely beautiful. Just the way it is, right? But I'm thinking, I kind of like the angle. I might do it on an angle so it looks more like a star. Look at that. I think I like the angle. Okay, so, but I'm curious about adding, and I just have a couple minutes left, literally like 2 minutes that I can be online. So I'm going to grab my tools. I'm going to grab a blender brush and add some color to the gift box just to see what that's like. See if we like that or not. And for some reason, I'm seeing blue, even though I don't have blue in this. And this is way out of my element because I normally really stick to 2 colors with an accent color. But I think because it's missing sky, and in this paper pack, there would be a lot of sky. In nature, there would be a lot of sky around this bird. I want to try the light blue. So I'm just going to grab that ink. Jasper, that was not yours. I got my dog up to no good. It's like having a toddler. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little pale blue and just see, loading up my blender brush. This is like a mint color, and let's just see if we like to add color to this box or if we preferred not to do so, just for fun, right? We'll try this together. So I'm going to go to the edges and just add a wee bit of color on the edges. I think that might give it a nice finished look. So I'm brushing off the edge here with the blender brush, and I am liking that. That is a nice finished look. Can you see that? So if I put white behind it, see the green edge? Okay. I do like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and go through the tops here and brush the edges just to give it a bit more of a complete look. So this could be interesting because you're going to do it from both sides, right? You have to do it from both sides for it to be seen from the top. And I do like that. See, this is the thing I love about stamping, which is, the funny thing is, my sister's on this broadcast today watching, and it's really her fault. A lot of this is her fault. Because, in the best way. Because I was a scrapbooker, and I thought, no, I do not need to get into card making and stamping. That's ridiculous. I don't have any money for this. Way long ago. And she said, hey, I'm gonna have a Stampin' Up party. Why don't I do it while you're here visiting a vacation? And I thought that would be fun. I could just try it out. And sure enough, I was hooked. But this is one of the reasons. If I'm gonna have all my scrapbooking supplies anyway, many of them can then turn into card making and gift making supplies. This is one ink pad and a blender brush, and I have done oodles and oodles and oodles of things with it. I can decorate gift bags. I can make something for my house. I can do so many things with an ink pad. So it's not just card making or stamping, but this is your ink. It's like paint, right? To use in so many ways. So that's what happened. Long story short, I ended up being 17 years of close to my heart and switched over to Stampin' Up. So I'm back where I started. The very first stamping I ever tried was with my sister at a Stampin' Up party that she threw. And we made cards, and it was fun. And I loved the products being high quality, and I didn't know such a thing existed. And there we go. We're off to the races. 18 years later. So if your sister's a good egg, let her get you in trouble sometime. That's my advice. Okay, I do love the edges being done. It's beautiful, just stark white. Also, it's a real pretty white. But this is fun. And, you know, it's the holidays, so why not do it all up? It took, what do you think? 2 or 3 minutes to do that? Not bad. I'm not making 100 of them, so I'm just making a few, so it's really not bad. So yeah, I would suggest that. You could use a sponge. I love the blender brushes, way better, but you can use any sponge to make more of your ink there. But yeah, I do like that. So now when it comes together, you just have a little extra, I don't know, that gives it a little extra oomph to me. Little something, little finished look. So let's melt this on now. And now we have the edges. See how soft that is with that light greenish blue? I really like that. So I'm going to want a really good adhesive on here. I'm going to flip this over. And remember that it hangs off the edges. I'm only going to do my glue in a diamond, okay? And I probably should use the other side because that's the thicker, and it smooths it. So this weird end on here, it squishes out the glue, but then it also smooths it. Okay, so there's my diamond of glue. And I'm going to adhere that on an angle. Okay. There we go. So again, hold this down, give it a chance. You could also use glue dots to adhere your cluster to a gift box so it's really sturdy. Anything like that would work. I really trust this glue, so I'm using that. I feel like it's the most permanent thing, but glue dots are also very sturdy. Okay. So yeah, so I've held that down. I'm just going to go inside. I'm going to add a little more pressure in the middle, make sure I got it all through. So I'm inserting my hand here and just making sure. Oh yeah, it seems very, very sturdy. So there's our gift box. Do you love it? I love this. So here's an example of creating a cluster and using our 3D boxes. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know, have you learned anything? Do you have any questions? Okay, my sister has a great idea. She was saying take the box, yellow, okay, putting yellow on it. And that would make it look like a star. I love that idea. We could also mount snowflakes on here, right? We could do die cut snowflakes, and you could almost hang it up like an ornament in your house. Look at that. You could hang that, like hang it down from the light and have snowflakes on each side, and it would be like a 3D star or snowflake ornament. This is really fun. I love that idea, Anne. Thank you. I am just looking through the comments. She forgot about the Stampin' Up party. I have never forgotten it because I was addicted for life. I was addicted for life to this whole world of crafting. Okay, so let's just add one more thing before I sign off. I just love to look at things, back up a little bit and think about it. And I'm loving the idea of grabbing... I usually love to add a little sparkle at the end. Okay, so these adhesive gems I can quickly do in a threesome. Well, I'll show you this way of putting them on too. But if you're going to add gems, you want to think triangle. Okay, so I can't resist trying these because Patty gave them to us and they're just beautiful. So one way of adhering is just to put your finger, bring it this over top, put your finger down and slide this out. That's as easy as, it's as hard as it is right there. Super easy. And that's the larger, so I like to put the larger near the bottom. And then these are the smaller, so I'm going to go up from there in a triangle. 1, 2, 3. And any triangle shape the eye really enjoys. Jasper. Oh, my puppy's in trouble. She's getting in trouble behind me. I'm going to have to get off here and see to her and get over to dance class. But there's my little triangle of adhesive gems. These iridescent faceted gems. So those are awesome, Patty. Thank you. That just adds even more sparkle. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, this is my website. I have a YouTube channel of the same name. I have Simply Scrap Happy. You can find videos there. I would love for you to connect with me and join me for some of my events. Thank you for popping on today. I hope you enjoyed this gift box tour. And if you learned anything, tell me what you learned or ask questions in the comments. And it was great spending a little snowy day with you. Take care. See you again soon.